Yeah, so the second wave is their job is to be Republicans, number one. Number two is to be normal. Normal, like Greg Abbott. You know, he's kind of screwing over the country, but he's kind of helping them too, you know what I mean? Because he did shine a light on, you know, and he did wake up a lot of Democrats in those cities by shipping all these people to their city, you know what I mean? And blah, 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 you know what I mean? But in the long run, he really didn't help anything. He actually hurt us by, making it harder to deport these people by distributing them all over the country. You know, and the boys in the river, I mean, really, he just helped them by making a focal point where them come in and have immigration just be there standing there, ready to give them the paperwork and say, go on your way. You know, here, give 5 minutes of paperwork. Go on your way. Do you need a bus ticket? You know, let's get you more further into the interior of the country. But yeah, these are second wave people. And I said that Trump might be second wave. I've given him benefit after doubt, right? Even when I knew he was spent as much as Biden, $8 trillion, I was like, well, maybe he was just, you know, I give him the benefit of the doubt. He's thinking he has to fix the country because it's so bad that he has to, you know what I mean, before he can move on, you know what I mean? But now he's doing it again. And he's never, when has he gotten rid of the deep state? He went after one, what was it, USAID or AD or something like that? I forget what it was. The Doge went after. And he destroyed that and showed the corruptionness. So what? That was like $1 billion or something. They're spending trillions. I don't think people understand, man. All our federal income tax that we pay, all that federal income tax, all that does is pay our interest on our loan to the Federal Reserve Bank. And like I said, when's the end of a fiat system? You know, when is the exact moment? The exact moment is when you cannot pay your interest. You know, because you usually pay your interest and a bunch of on the principal, right? And then you start just paying the interest, right? But once you make one time you don't pay your interest, that's now we're going down, and your society will collapse because money is based on nothing. Fiat money is based on nothing. Real money would be based on gold, meaning if there's $1 trillion in dollar bills out here, there'd be $1 trillion in gold sitting somewhere. You know what I mean? That way, there's no end. There's no collapse. But when when your money is backed by nothing except faith, if it's only based on faith, then what do you think happens the first time you can't pay even your interest? You can't even pay the principal. Now you can't even pay you can't even pay all the interest. What do you think happens to faith in that monetary system? It goes downhill. So what? And then now they want to change the monetary system. First they did it in World War I. They did it for World War II. They have to do it for World War III. Okay. And they need us to be starving, and you know they need to collapse everything to do this. They're putting a chip in your arm, in your hand or whatever. They have to have. It has to be worse than it was for World War I, where they changed the monetary system. Has to be worse than World War II when they changed the monetary system. It has to be biblical, okay? To put a chip in your arm and just have electric money where they have control everything and they know everything where you do your money. They follow you around. They can just shut your thing off. Yeah, to do that, to have that kind of power. But the whole thing is the second wave is going to come in now, and they're going to fit. See, that's the thing. That's the trick. Remember how I said it goes Democrat, Republican, right? As it swings from one side to the other, they have a main goal. It seems like the Republicans say, they want war and they want this and that and fight crime, and the Democrats want to fight racism and the environment and let criminals go free and no punishment. Yeah, but they have a single goal at the top, and that's what the deep state wants. They always want to divide us, man. They always want to divide us, man. In a war, see, when you have a World War III, they're going to have to print up a whole bunch of money, right? Because Where does money come from when you have a world war? Comes from printing shit up out of nothing. And you need weapons, you need munitions, you need jets, you need a whole bunch of stuff. You need to spend. Just like the illegal aliens. You think that we're shipping. They don't care that they lost. Sure, they wanted them for voters. They wanted to get more people into the blue states so that they can count them as citizens in the census and then have more congressmen in Congress. They wanted all that stuff. They wanted them to vote Democrats and blah, blah, blah. But that's just the lower part of it. At the top, it's just they want to spend money. They want to bankrupt us because we are close to, they can push it. They can push that collapse. All they have to do is just keep spending like crazy, man. So what's going to happen, because you are all morons, is you just don't realize that these presidents and these people, they're all related. John Kerry, Buttigieg, all the people, Bush, Obama, everybody, Cheney, they're all related. They're all cousins, for God's sakes, who have the same grandfathers, direct bloodlines to the same kings who are the first kings of every first world country. You don't think they're in cahoots with each other? Really? Come on, man. So, well, that's all that was. As you swing back from the Democrat to the Republican, that's what I was going to say, is Yins beg for it. You beg for it. The Democrats go, like this time, they are crazy and whatever, and we begged, please, Republicans, save us, save us. And what does the Republicans do? They swoop in like Superman. Oh, here to save the day, Mighty Mouse. And they save the day. Trump's taking out this knife that Biden put in our back, closing the border. This one here, getting rid of gender theory. This one here, doing this. This one, making the economy better. Oh, taking that out. Well, he sticks a freaking freaking machete in our back by destroying our, by bankrupting us. He's bankrupting us. But we praise him. We praise him. And keep in mind, I'm a Trump supporter. Yeah, we had to put Trump in. We had no choice, man. Even knowing this now, because before I had doubts, maybe he isn't deep state, maybe he's not, whatever. But now he's spending another $3 trillion? No, this guy, he's a businessman, he's a billionaire. He knows that fiat money has an end. He knows that. And he can do the same math I can do, right? To figure out when our society will collapse, right? It's just a freaking goddamn math formula. It's not some whatever. I mean, you can't really use it for the future, but you can say if we spend the way exactly we are right now, and we just continue it at the same exact rate, yeah, there's an actual math formula you can do and figure out when your society is going to collapse. It's not like, you know what I mean? The only reason you can't do it now is because it fluctuates. What if we stop spending money? Then that changes it, or we spend more. You know what I mean? You never spend at the same rate. You know what I mean? In the future. So, but there is, if we do, we can literally easily do. Me, not just even some math that I'm not a college person, man. Even I could figure out probably a formula, you know, without even looking it up. I could probably figure out what the formula is to figure out when your society is going to collapse. You don't even need a formula. You just use your common sense, man. Like, go on. I remember how I said the Republicans and the Democrats are the same, and it's just a pendulum. We go back and forth, back and forth. Let me show you an example of this before I go on, okay? Now, before James Buchanan, right, there was no Republican Party, all right? Before that, there was the Wing Party, the Federalist, the National Union Party, the Republican-Democrats Party, that's one party, Republican Democrats. And the Democrats were around, and there's a couple other whatevers. But the Republicans didn't come around until 1854, right? And James Buchanan was Democrat in 1859 to 1861. Then, okay, because the Republican Party, yeah, get this, the Republican Party was started as the anti-slavery party. Like, basically, it was created that to have one sole, you know, a bunch of missions, but to have one main goal, like one mission, main mission to end slavery. They were the anti-slavery party. Yeah, they're the racist ones. So it was started in 1854, 4 years later, or whatever it is, 5 years later. They lost the election for James Buchanan. And then the next election, the very next election, Lincoln was made president. The guy who got rid of slavery, right? And then 4 times after that, like right in a row, 5 Republicans are voted into office, okay? And at this point, it starts to be a pendulum. They got it down pat on how to deep state the whole thing, man, right? So I'm going to read, wait, where's it at? So I'm going to read, just, well, not the names or anything. I'm going to start with Garfield and Chester Arthur, okay? Before them, there were 3 Republicans, and then these 2 Republicans, so 5 in a row. You know, but we loved slavery. America, like, ended slavery. After 400 years of slavery in the American colony, owned by the UK, Americans took over, created the U.S., and then got rid of slavery. Like, that's quick. You know, but there, yeah, like only 0.0000% of that 400 years was during the United States. But hey, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to go in order here and just read off, you know, Republican, whatever, you know. And you'll see that there is a pendulum. Just a back and forth motion. Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. And here's where it goes with the pendulum. This is where it goes, and the pendulum really swings back and forth. Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Democrat, Republican. See how, you know, it was pendulum the whole time, but at the beginning, did you notice how you had, you know, a little bit more Republicans, you know what I mean, staying longer, and then it's evened out, you know what I mean, to like 2 and 1, and then 1 and, you know what I mean, 2, but it was basically 2 and 2. Now, then at the last, from Bush, or from Bush on, it's basically just Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. Each time it swings back, they take more freedoms in different ways. You know what I mean? Yeah, so they want to destroy the economy all over the globe and have World War III so they can change the monetary system. Okay? And you can't change a monetary system this drastically and this crazy without everyone being starving and everybody being in a war. You know what I mean? You got to have you have to have biblical stuff going on here. This is going to be worse than World War I or World War II because the change is so drastic and insane that no one would do it without biblical, you know, things happening. But when they get in office, like Nikki Haley, she's second wave. If she would have got in office, we would be in World War III guaranteed by 2027. There's no doubt. Okay, and you know, like Greg Abbott, I already mentioned him in another video. If I'm right, and he is, I'm not 100%, I'm 99.99%, he's second wave. And we're going to cheer him on. Look, he closed that border, even though he didn't close the border. He just made them walk around his boys. How did that close it? You think they just walked back? They said, oh, he got boys here. Let's all go home. No, not one person turned around. They just walked a couple miles down the road and went around. Okay? And he shipped them around. Oh, look, he woke everyone up. No. He's just shipping them into the interior so they're harder to get out. To get them and find them. But if he gets to be the president, oh man, he's going to destroy everything. Now, is Trump deep state? I don't think he is. I really don't. Even now.